नमस्कार मंडळी, आज आपण जाणार आहोत अशा ठिकाणी जिथून मानवाने पहिल्यांदा चंद्रावर पाऊल ठेवण्याचा प्रवास सुरू केला. होय, आज आपण जातोय केनेडी स्पेस सेंटर ऑफ नासा, जे फ्लोरिडामध्ये मेरिट आयलंडवर आहे. हे नासाचे मुख्य लॉन्च सेंटर आहे. याची स्थापना 1 जुलै 1962ला झाली. 1969मध्ये अपोलो 11 मून लँडिंग रॉकेट इथूनच अंतराळात पाठवण्यात आले होते. एक इम्पॉर्टंट अपडेट, इथे आल्यावर आम्हाला कळलं की 1 एप्रिल 2026ला संध्याकाळी 6:24 नासा आर्टेमिस 2 सर्व मून मिशन शेड्यूल आहे. ते मी या व्हिडिओच्या एंडमध्ये त्याचं लॉन्च पॅड आणि रॉकेट दाखवणार आहे, तर पूर्ण व्हिडिओ बघा. आता आम्ही पोचलेलो आहोत केनेडी प्लेस सेंटरला. चला आता आतमध्ये जाऊया. या वॉलवर डेली शेड्यूल लिहिलेलं आहे इथलं. या बोर्डवर ॲडमिशन आणि पासेसची इन्फॉर्मेशन दिलेली आहे. आम्ही याचं तिकीट ऑनलाईन परचेस केलं होतं. एंट्रन्सवरच नासाचा लोगो आहे. तिथे आम्ही फोटो काढून सिक्युरिटी चेककडे गेलो. आता आपला सिक्युरिटी चेक झालेला आहे आणि आपण एंटर केलं आहे केनेडी स्पेस सेंटरच्या आतमध्ये. आता सर्वप्रथम आपण बघणार आहोत स्पेस शटल अटलांटिस. हे शटल 30पेक्षा जास्त अंतराळ मोहिमेमध्ये यूज केलं गेलेलं आहे. हे रियुजेबल आहे. इथे इंटरॅक्टिव्ह एक्झिबिट आहे, जिथे तुम्ही ॲस्ट्रोनॉटसारखा अनुभव घेऊ शकता. चला तर बघूया स्पेस शटल अटलांटिस. स्पेस शटल अटलांटिस हे नासाच्या सर्वात प्रसिद्ध स्पेस शटलपैकी एक आहे. याचं पहिलं उड्डाण हे 1985मध्ये झालं होतं. आणि जवळपास 25 वर्ष हे शटल अंतराळ मोहिमामध्ये सक्रिय होतं. याने एकूण नियर अबाउट 33 मिशन पूर्ण केले आहे. या मिशनमध्ये आहे सॅटेलाईटचं डिप्लॉयमेंट, इंटरनॅशनल स्पेस स्टेशनचं कन्स्ट्रक्शन आणि सायंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट्स. या अटलांटिस रियुजेबल शटलची एक इम्पॉर्टंट गोष्ट म्हणजे हे शटल अंतराळात जाऊन पृथ्वीवर परत येऊ शकतं आणि पुन्हा वापरता येतं. म्हणजे समजा एखादं रॉकेट घेऊन हे गेलं तर ते रॉकेट डिप्लॉय करून ते परत रिटर्न पृथ्वीवर येतं आणि पुन्हा आपण दुसऱ्या मिशनसाठी ते रियूज करू शकतो. इथे या स्पेस शटलबद्दल पूर्ण इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल आहे. त्याचं इंजिन, त्याच्यात यूज केलेली टेक्नॉलॉजी. टेम्परेचर याची डिटेल माहिती दिलेली आहे. इथे इंटरनॅशनल स्पेस स्टेशन कसं असतं याचा एक्सपिरियन्स आपल्याला दिलेला आहे. दिस इज द इनसाइड टूर ऑफ इंटरनॅशनल स्पेस स्टेशन. दिस इज द एक्झिट पॉइंट. आता आम्ही निघालो आहे बघायला की शटल जेव्हा पृथ्वीवर येते तेव्हा ती कशी येते. त्याचं यांनी एक डेमो मॉडेल तयार केलेलं आहे ते बघण्यासाठी. हाऊ टू लॉन्च अ शटल, स्पेस शटल. ते दाखवलं आहे की फर्स्ट टर्नला किती स्पीड असते, त्यानंतरचे डिफरंट. आता आपण बघणार आहोत स्पेस शटलच्या आतमध्ये जी टेक्नॉलॉजी यूज केली आहे ते, आणि ॲस्ट्रॉनॉट आतमध्ये कसे राहतात त्याच्याबद्दलची इन्फॉर्मेशन घेतो आहे. हा ॲस्ट्रॉनॉटचा फ्लाईट सूट आहे. दिस इज द फॅसिलिटी फॉर ॲस्ट्रॉनॉट स्लीप. Astronaut eat. This is the information for that. This is the space station dining. आता आम्ही निघालो शटल लॉन्च एक्सपिरियन्स करण्यासाठी. आतला व्हिडिओ मला दाखवता येईल.
I've flown thousands of hours on every space shuttle simulator NASA has, and I can tell you that this is the most realistic simulation of a shuttle launch there is.
It's a very, very dynamic ride. It's more than anything I've ever experienced in any airplane I've flown, for sure.
So if you're the type of person that has a need for speed, you are really going to love this simulation. It's going to be a great experience, and you're going to really feel like you're going somewhere.
And I am going to help you get through it. See, before any launch, all astronauts have spent thousands of hours being tested and trained in simulators, a lot like the one you're going to ride. You'll be riding on a special module that fits right into the payload bay. But before you go aboard, we better back to the main engine start.
Very amazing experience for us to see the things too closely. गॅलेक्सी व्यू खूप सुंदर वाटतं हे बघायला. सगळं ते दिलेले आहे. शटलच्या इन्फॉर्मेशन, फर्स्ट 10 फ्लाईट ऑफ द स्पेस शटल. क्रू इन्फॉर्मेशन, चॅलेंजेस. इथे कल्पना चावला जे आपल्या इंडियन ओरिजिनच्या आहेत, त्यांच्या स्पेस शटल कोलंबियाबद्दल इन्फॉर्मेशन दिली आहे. इथे स्पेस शटलमध्ये यूज केलेल्या टेक्नॉलॉजीचं सिम्युलेशन केलेलं आहे. आता इथे रोबोटिक आर्म कसं वर्क करते त्यासाठी जे सिस्टीम आहे ते मी एक्सप्लोर करते आहे. दिस इज द वर्किंग ऑफ द रोबोटिक आर्म सिस्टीम. दिस इज फॉर द मोशन ऑफ द रोबोटिक आर्म. These are the manual mode, orbital dap, manual mode, event timer, we can set. Docking with the station.
Looks like you're drifting. Need to get back on course.
Landing the orbiter. केनेडी सेंटरच्या आतमध्येच खूप सारे रेस्टॉरंट आहेत. लंच करून आता आम्ही निघतोय. आमचा 1:30 वाजताचा बस टूर आहे त्यासाठी. हा एक एक्सप्लोर टूर जो नॉर्मल बस टूरमध्ये अवेलेबल नाही आहे. त्याची बुकिंग आम्ही ऑनलाईनच केलेली होती. हे आहे मिस्टर ली, जे आमच्या बस टूरचे गाईड आहेत. त्यांनी खूप छान एक्सप्लेन केलं.
Space shuttle program, they were orbiter processing facilities. Now they're used for other things. The first two, the light tan buildings with the blue doors, are used for a super secret military project called the X-37B. The third building off to the distance to the right over there with the blue mural is used by Boeing for Starliner. That they use, they clean those up to use again the Falcon 9 booster. And then the building that you see over there under construction is a new addition that SpaceX is doing for the Starship rockets that they'll eventually be launching from here in a year or so, depending on the situation. So, Control Center, or LCC, 4 firing rooms originally built for that. Right now, we're only using firing room 1 that's on the left, closest to the VAD for the Artemis program. If you look over on the other side, this is our press site. We've got journalists that come here from all over the world to cover major launches. You see the rocket engine they've got set out there. That hasn't been there very long. That is an RS-25 engine. Now, the interesting thing about that is we're using it on both. We used it for the shuttle program, the 3 shuttle main engines, but we're also Mobile Launcher 2. They've stopped construction on it. We've actually changed the focus on how we're going to be doing some things. There's a great view behind you there of the order. We have 2 of them. CT2 is the one that's active right now, and that's the one that we've used to move Artemis around with. This is not a 2-lane road, by the way. This is a 1-lane road because the crawler is so big, it straddles that grassy area. You can see there's an open area there in your picture there, and it goes over that. So this is about the width of an 8-lane highway. That's motors. So it's kind of like a diesel locomotive. And you can see underneath there, see all that space underneath there? So that is where it goes over the grassy area there. Look at how big those tank tracks are. Each of those links weighs 1 ton apiece. Altogether, this thing weighs 6.6 billion pounds, and it is a very powerful vehicle. You can see the exhaust ports there for the diesel engines. They use the diesel engines to turn electric generators, which make a large amount of electric power. We're going to be getting off, spend about 25 minutes here.
Stop orders. All personnel begin stop fire shutdown.
Now you see the rocket engine bell swinging around like that? That's a process called gimbaling, and that's how we steer our modern rockets. We used to use fins to do that, but now we use the engines themselves, and they can correct the trajectory by angling or gimbaling to make sure that the trajectory is where they want it to be. Now, even though this is a simulation and that engine bell there is fabricated, if you look at the very top where the plumbing is up there, that is a real rocket engine. So we've turned that into an exhibit. That's called a J2 engine. And we use those on the second and third stages of the Saturn V. And that's been in storage for over 50 years. It's one of those ones that probably couldn't be used because there was something wrong with it. They took the original engine bell off and made this extension so that we could use it for this simulation to show people how we test rocket engines. Now, right over here is a picture of the crawler with this up here on top of it. This is called the Mobile Land Launch Platform. We use these during the shuttle program. In fact, you see the parts stick up there, the quick disconnects that were near the wings of the shuttle where it was fueled on the bottom there. Now, this actually was brought over here and disassembled because we just didn't have room for them. We're building new versions that have a lot more capability. These things are over 50 years old. And you couldn't, the tower looks like an upside down L. I actually used that map. That's the part just to the right. You can see There's a gray structure that's kind of got that's a little further along than it was the other day. And they'll set the booster down. Then they'll bring over the upper stage, which is also called Starship. So the whole rocket's called Starship, but the upper stage is also called Starship. They'll bring it over, also already vertical, right next to Mechazilla. Chopstick arms will pick it up, go all the way to the top, set it down on top. Then they're going to fill the whole thing with methane and oxygen, light it, and send it in.
This is the actual rocket. This is the actual rocket. Will be launched in 4 days.
There was a lot more of it there, but SpaceX, when they took over this pad, they took off what they didn't want, and they refurbished this to be a launch umbilical tower for the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy. And the other tower that's you can see here under construction is called Mechazilla. That's what they call their launch towers. Now this not only is responsible for the launch umbilical to launch the rocket, it also stacks it. The Starship, once we start using them out here, is too tall to stack inside the VAB. They actually bring over each stage separately and stack it with those chopstick arms I mentioned earlier. There's some evaporators. They're going to have their own air separation unit out here to get the oxygen that we need to do the launches, the liquid oxygen. They can also get nitrogen out of it. We use nitrogen for testing. This is a rare look inside the horizontal integration facility, which is normally used for Falcon 9s and Falcon Heavies. This is a staging area right now because they're doing a lot of changes over here for the Mechazilla tower and the launch infrastructure for Starship. If you look up to the top of the pad there, you see a white instrument laying on its back, kind of looks like upside down spider legs. That's called the transporter erector. You see the rails there, that actually goes down inside the horizontal integration facility, and they actually put together the rocket horizontally and lower it down. Second stage, once it finishes its mission, it'll come back and be caught by the other tower. So that's why they're always going to be in pairs. Once they get this one built, they're going to start on another one. The launch mount, you see right there, the gray area there where the red heart is, that is, they're making a lot of progress. They're putting cladding on the angled sections there. Underneath that is called a flame trench. Yes, SpaceX finally realized they needed a flame trench like everybody else used in 2 pieces, and the chopstick arms, which you see right there, right above the launch mount, they will use that to pick up each of the stages and set it on the launch. All the way south of here on the mechanical side. Signage you'll see on the left are mission patches from Apollo and Space Shuttle that took off from pad 39A. On either side, you see a cutout of the type of the way you're coasting to the moon. Where the Earth's gravity is so strong, it slows you down bit by bit by bit, and that's why it takes so long. Now, when you get close enough to the moon's gravity takes over, and that's the way we need to do it now. Now, someday, maybe a few decades from now, we'll have engines that can burn all the way to the moon, and instead of taking 3 days, you might be able to get there in a few hours. Now, they're sending the 4 people we're talking about sending to the moon. There are 3 American NASA astronauts, including a woman and a person of color. Very cool that articles that NASA is going to be bringing to the moon, especially once the time we get to the moon base. We're going to be setting up near the South Pole, and we're going to be having lots of people there living and working. NASA is sending astronauts to the moon. You can see the platform, the gray triangular or rectangular platform that everything's sitting on, but the space underneath that, that's where the crawler goes. And it'll slide underneath that. Once we launch the rocket, the mobile launcher will still be there. There's a hole in the bottom of the mobile launcher for the exhaust to go through. Once the rocket is gone, then the crawler will come back over from where the gantry is, the 39 gantry. It'll go up the hillside there, slide underneath the mobile launcher, lift it up, and take it back to the VAB because they're going to need to do repair work. Now, there's something else that's on this rocket that we've never put on there before and probably never will again. Near the top of each of the SRBs, it says 250. Does anybody know what that's for?
Oh, 250 years.
That's right. On July 4th will be 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and that's the only rocket that NASA is going to put that on, because by the time we launch the next one, it'll be 2027. Now, the towers you see around this are lightning towers. They're about 660 feet tall before it took off.
You can stand up if you want to on this side of the bus right now while I'm stopped.
Right.
Get your photos and sit back down. Thank you. Wonderful.
All right, very good.
We want everybody to get their photos for sure.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the person walking underneath the thing? It looked like an ant.
All right, so we just we're ready to go. We need we've got one more person that needs to sit down for safety, please. Thank you. All right, so the next place we're going, Men in Black 3. All right, Transformers 3, Sharknado 3, a movie that was so bad it was good. And more recently, a movie called Fly Me to the Moon. How many people have seen?
हे नासाचं असेंब्ली सेंटर आहे.
Here at the Kennedy Space Center. Thank you.
बस टूर झाल्यावर त्यांनी आम्हाला अपोलो सॅटर्न व्हिजिटर सेंटरला ड्रॉप केलं. तिथे आम्ही मून मिशन रिलेटेड शोज बघितले. इथे लोणार सॅम्पल पण ठेवलेले आहेत, ते पण बघितलं. त्यानंतर आम्ही स्पेस स्पॉट KSCला गेलो, ते पण खूप अमेझिंग आहे. आमचा नासाचा अमेझिंग एक्सपिरियन्स होता. तुम्हाला कसा वाटला जरूर कमेंट करून सांगा आणि अशाच नवनवीन व्हिडिओसाठी आपल्या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा. धन्यवाद.